Welcome to our online information session for the Performing Arts, hosted by Professor Jeffrey Illom and Professor Ross Duffin. My name is Michael Mason, and I will be taking your questions via email to be answered live on air. If you have a question, please send it to summeredgehelp@case.edu with the subject line Info Session. If we do not answer your question live, we'll follow up with you via email shortly. Now to your hosts, Jeffrey Illom and Ross Duffin.
Hi there, good evening. I'm Jeffrey Illom.
I'm Ross Duffin.
We're very glad you could join us. We're very excited about the different opportunities for the performing arts at CASE. It's a wonderful, wonderful education you're about to receive, and the three departments that we'll be talking about tonight are really excellent in terms of how they support students' interests in the arts and what they offer. Anything you'd like to say from the beginning?
No, just that there are a lot of ways to interact with our departments as majors, but also just taking part in performances and pursuing other curricula like minors and so on. And we'll be talking about all those things this evening and give you a chance to find out what's available. Yeah.
We're first going to talk about theater, then we'll move to music, and we'll talk a little bit about dance at the end, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. If worse comes to worse, you're not able to watch through the whole webinar, although I encourage you to. You, by all means, can reach us via email. Our contact information is in the web presentation you're about to see. So first we're going to begin with the Department of Theater. I am the Director of Undergraduate Theater Studies. I've been here for 5 wonderful, glorious years, and I absolutely adore this institution. The Department of Theater at Case Western Reserve University is actually the second oldest theater department in the country for undergraduate education. We are a smaller department compared to certainly the larger science departments around campus, but we are a fully capable department in that sense. We are a faculty of 9, versed in acting, directing, playwriting, history, dramaturgy, any aspect of theater you're interested in, we will find a way to make sure you get the right education that you're interested in. What we do is we offer a BA, which means that you are going to get a well-rounded education in college. You're going to become a scholar as well as an artist during your time here. And we are interested in developing you and your personal interests as an actor, as a designer, as a writer, whatever aspect you're interested in. And our department, because we are on the smaller side, that gives us greater flexibility. So that if you have specific interests, we will find connections and avenues to make sure that you can explore your certain interest. Being a BA, what you do as a student is you come in and you decide you want to pick acting and directing, but at the same time, we have a brand new curriculum in our department. What it is that every student takes a core set of classes in all different areas, and then beyond that, how you work your way through the major is completely up to you. You have to take a certain number of hours, but you can decide, was you're a junior, oh, I've discovered directing, I want to take this avenue. Oh, I didn't know about dramaturgy, so I want to take this. We love the flexibility of our department. It provides the students not only a great opportunity to determine their intellectual interests and where their talents lie, which is extremely important in the arts, but also in addition to that, what it does is that it allows you to take on greater responsibility, to be responsible for your own education. And that's kind of a philosophy that I think really applies within liberal arts education, is that you need to be responsible for how you manage your time, for how you behave professionally within each practice. And we've taken that into our own curriculum. As what we choose to offer is great, ample opportunities for students to get involved in our department. We like to embrace freshmen when they come in. We've had freshmen actually stage manage main stage shows, as long as they prove that they are capable, as long as they prove that they are dedicated and professional and whatever experiences they bring with them. We are able to offer them different opportunities. And so we love to give students that type of responsibility. It's one of the great things, it's not just in the theater department, I know it's in the music, it's in all the arts as well, is that depending upon how much you want to commit is how much you'll get back from the department as well. So what we offer is a BA with a lot of flexibility. The majority of our students, I say about 95% of our students, are double majors. We think it's wonderful because a lot of students are pursuing theater that they love and sometimes some other kind of intellectual challenge degree. And often we find in a variety of our classes, they bring in information from those classes into our other classes and makes them much more complex and rich and insightful. And we really love that about our students. It's not a problem to double major at all. It's not a problem to minor, even if you're interested in performing and the different demands from that, and I'll talk about that as we get to the productions. But we really encourage our students to be a part of the university. We don't want to be a department that once you're a major that you're sucked in to our department and our department alone. You are a student, you are here to get a college education and have that experience. And we want to make sure that our schedule, that we are very cognizant of the fact that you have many demands made upon you in our department and in other departments from other classes, from the criteria you have to satisfy for the college. And we want to make sure that you are happy as a student in fulfilling your needs and your requirements and your other interests as well. We as the department are always going to be there to help support you in your artistic endeavors. And the music is the same, and the same in dance, just the same. When we look at exactly what we have, these are some classes that are available for freshmen to take. These are the standard first-year classes, certainly coming in the fall. We often suggest an acting class because we have a lot of acting classes that we offer, and I'll explain why in just a minute. Our design tech classes, we have a brand new class. It's the Theater 111. It's not offered until the spring, but it's an intro to design course. We have numerous playwriting and history classes that we offer. They're 200, 300 levels, so I recommend taking those in the spring because I think it's kind of a general rule for all freshmen not to take a 200 class unless you're advised to, because otherwise you're competing against sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Is that true in your
I don't
department?
think that we observe that particularly.
Do
we
you?
have
Okay.
a lot of introductory classes that are at the 200 level.
Oh, really? Okay, well, see, there you go. For our department, then, I'd advise you not to. But nevertheless, you can talk to the teacher first and go from there. And then also the general theater class, Theater 110, is a great class for all students who have a passing interest or want to pursue theater on a higher level than what they're familiar with, because we explore all the different aspects. We explore directing, we explore design, we explore criticism, audience behavior and patterns, and we really try to connect it all so that you understand where theater is as an industry, as an art form today. These are all wonderful courses. They all lead to other courses within the department, and so it is a wonderful opportunity for you to get involved, to know the faculty. Our course sizes are extremely small. The largest class sizes that we usually have are with the acting classes. We usually get about 10 to 12 majors each year, and so those major classes are specifically for them. We have minor classes specifically for minors. Our general acting classes are the largest, they're at 18, but otherwise most of our theater classes, depending upon the field, range between 4 and 10. And so you get to know your faculty extremely well, and they get to know you. They get to know how to push you, how to challenge you, where your skills lie and how to help hone those skills, but also where your deficiencies or where you might struggle, and how best to try to work with you in order to help you, both as a student and as an artist. And so therefore the small class sizes that we offer in our department are really, really exceptional for our students to try to take advantage of. In terms of the faculty, we have faculty that teach undergraduate classes as well as a graduate program. We have a graduate program that is an incredible program of great reputation. There's a statistic that came out from a few years ago that basically our graduate celebration at the end of the year, it outdrew both Yale and Princeton combined, which is really quite extraordinary, which shows the strength and the reputation that Case has nationally.
Are you talking about the New York auditions?
The New York auditions that they have, yeah. I mean, they're incredibly well attended, and everybody gets signed by an agent. It's incredibly, and we have alumni on shows, Tony Award nominees, all sorts of stuff. And the faculty that are teaching those classes are the exact same faculty that teach the undergrad. We don't have TAs. And so you're going to be taught by these professionals who are teaching grad students, but also are working within the field. The wonderful woman who you see up there, Kathy Albers, who's in the little hood looking at a letter, she recently played a crack addict in the latest Tom Cruise film. And so you can see her wonderful work. I'm sure her students are very, very proud. And all of these different people, actually the chair, Ron Wilson, who's in the funny hat, he was recently a huge Reddit success because of his work in art. All of these faculty are working professionals, and we make sure that we bring our connections that we have to you. They are open and available to you, provided that you are dedicated, have the interest. We want to help the students achieve and beyond what we certainly can provide, and we use our contacts and our resources to do that. And so we are all working professionals, and that's an immense importance that we are not within the realm of academia. We are out there working, and so we know what the latest trends are. We know what the different audition techniques are, design advancements are. This is how we can certainly help our students in that sense. It's a wonderful, wonderful faculty. They're incredibly accessible, especially when you know them from classes, but also from working in production as well. And that's what we'll talk about next here. Productions. We do a large number of productions as a department overall. We have 4 main stage productions that we do. You can see the different images that we have here. We do a wide range of shows. Ideally, during a student's 4 years here, we expose them to a wide range of shows by not repeating playwrights and genres. We do repeat Shakespeare every other year and usually some other classic every other year. But beyond that, if we do a Chekhov, we probably won't do it again in the next 4 years. We do a Sam Shepard or an Arthur Miller, we won't do it again because we want to try to challenge our students by doing different shows. It wouldn't benefit them if they do a bunch of George Bernard Shaw over and over again. And so therefore it challenges the director, but it also challenges our students in design to tackle different approaches. We bring in outside directors from the Cleveland community, professional directors, to come in and work with our students, not because our faculty are busy, which they sometimes are, but simply because it helps our students to be more familiar with someone else's different directing style, approach to design, how you work with a designer, how you work with a different stage manager. The more opportunities that we can give our students and the more knowledge and breadth of experience we can give them, the better they're going to be.
There's a lot of professional theater in Cleveland too that they can see as a good example of what they're
There's
working
an
towards.
amazing amount of professional theater. In the midst of writing my book on the Cleveland Playhouse, you find that Cleveland really had a reputation as a theater city way back in the 1800s. Whenever a show premiered on Broadway and it went on tour, Cleveland was the first stop they would always come to.
The Playhouse was one of the early
the Playhouse was one of the earliest, and that aspect remarkably hasn't changed in Cleveland. It's a remarkable town for theater and the arts overall, I would say.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I've lived all over the country, and I've never seen a town support the arts as much as Cleveland, even though Cleveland doesn't have that reputation nationally. But it's really an amazing opportunity here. So with our productions, we cast freshmen as well as seniors. We have the philosophy that how can you be good on stage as a senior if you're not on stage as a freshman? You don't suddenly become miraculous when you're a senior. You get training throughout your year, and of course it depends upon the role and the size. We do a variety of shows. We pick our season depending upon size, on gender balance, make sure there's equal opportunities for women as for men, different styles. And so don't think that just because you're an incoming freshman that you aren't going to have a chance to get on stage, because you certainly will. I remember that when I was directing a show years ago, I had a cast of 30 and 15 were freshmen, because I like personally working with new students. That's an interesting challenge for me as a director, so that I get to know you and I get to hear what you're interested in, and work from that point of view. And so with our productions, our main stage productions, we do 4 each year. We also have a variety of student groups as well. Before I get ahead of myself, here's a list of all the different productions that we've done just in the past 4 years. You can see it's a wide-ranging list. We also have students, depending upon their interest and their talent level, actually go work with the grad students downtown. We've had more and more students seize that opportunity, and so they actually are working in a professional theater downtown because of our connections with professional theater that I'll talk about in just a minute. These are the types of shows we can do. You can see the variety, you can see the style. It's a large number of shows for a department to do in 4 years. In addition to this, we also have a number of student groups that I'll talk about in just a minute. But first, let me tell you about study abroad opportunity and actually how that intertwines. For students that are interested in all different aspects, performance, interested in design, what we highly encourage our students to do is study abroad. The opportunity to study abroad is actually included in your tuition. You don't have to pay extra. You simply take the money that you would normally pay for case tuition and simply apply it to a study abroad program. And there's all these specifics that I don't want to get into and misspeak, but I know our students take great advantage of this. And you can see these are all pictures that are actually taken by students. They go to Moscow, they go to Brazil. We actually had one of our double majors study geopolitical something in Brazil and also theater while there. That's someone in Spain. We often have students go to London simply because obviously the language barrier, is not present when they're there. But we also have students go to Russia. We study at the Moscow Art Theater, one of the most famous theaters in the world.
Don't you have a special program in London now?
Why, thanks, Rob. We actually just began this really new program that is absolutely stunning. We have a partnership with the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, RADA. And if there is any school that is known internationally for its talent and its alumni, Alan Rickman, Snape, for those of you who know that, I know him from Die Hard, he is the chair, he's the president officially. We have a program with RADA. The RADA came to us to create this program, to create a study abroad opportunity. So there are 2 programs in the whole world, 2 schools that RADA has worked with, NYU and us. And it is an incredible opportunity for our students to go abroad and work with RADA for a whole semester. Our students obviously get a bit of priority, or I should say consideration, in terms of getting admittance to this program. And anytime you have RADA on your resume, it speaks volumes. I keep telling my students, you should go to this program. Why? Because it's RADA. It's RADA. It doesn't get better than RADA. We have students that go to other programs, British Academy of Dramatic Arts, London Academy of Music and Drama, and they're all great. I don't mean to, demean others, but the opportunity that we have with RADA is truly unique in this country. Us and NYU, it's a remarkable opportunity that we cannot promote enough. And if you're here at Case, you certainly get the opportunity to enjoy that program with the finest theater school in the world. And so we highly encourage students to take study abroad opportunity, not just because it's a chance to to learn theater, but it's a chance to go abroad. You learn so much just by being abroad. The different experience, they always say you can learn more outside the classroom sometimes than in, and studying abroad is a great opportunity for that. To see theater, all different types of theater, aggressive, progressive, agitprop, all different sorts of theater that you might normally not see. It's a wonderful opportunity to expose yourself, to see what all is out there, and then bring those experiences back to the classroom. So then it's wonderful for us, and I'm sure you get the same enjoyment as an educator when you see students go abroad and then they come back. Mm-hmm. And you can see how they've grown. You can see how they've challenged themselves, what they're newly interested in, what they're excited by. And then it's great for us to try and find ways and avenues to satisfy those. And we highly encourage all our students to study abroad, to get that experience. And Case is wonderful. They have the Study Abroad Center here at Case is wonderful at helping students fulfill, to find those opportunities and also fulfill the different requirements to make sure that you can go there and bring the credits back to help satisfy what you need. And the different departmental representatives will work with the students in advance to make sure that all those requirements can be met. So when you go abroad,
all
you know exactly.
Done in advance. So
done in
there's
advance.
No problem. You don't do a course over there and come back and find out that it's not going to count, because all that kind of thing is done in advance and certified that it will count.
Yeah, exactly. You'll know exactly what you're going to get when you go over. And also our students as well who've been to programs before you will tell you exactly what you need to do and so forth. And so it's a wonderful opportunity. I wish I had gone abroad when I was an undergrad. Did you go abroad when you were an undergrad? I'm envious of our students. We always joke that we're going to live vicariously for our students when they go abroad, because we know there's shows that we would love to see that we won't get the chance to. And our students rave about the study abroad programs. In terms of, finally, the other performance opportunities, our department has a student group called the Players Theater Group. This is student run, and this is a really great opportunity for our students, not only in terms of performance, but in terms of leadership. They pick the shows, direct the shows, design the shows in our black box space. And this is a great they pick the season, they have a committee, they have a president, they have a student leadership board, and they do about 6 shows a year, about 3 per semester in the black box, and it fits around the main stage opportunities. So again, there's another opportunity for shows. If you're not cast in the main stage show, you have this other opportunity and a chance to get involved. The faculty come see those shows, and it's a wonderful opportunity for the students, for the faculty and other students to see your work. To know where your strengths are, to know what you're interested in, and then of course when you go to audition and get involved in design opportunities the next year, we already know you. We're already familiar with what you can do, and so it's a wonderful opportunity to see freshmen get involved in this all the time. There also as well is Improvement, which is the improv troupe on campus. They are award-winning. They travel all over the country. Recently, it's been Chicago a lot because we now have ties. They have students study. It's not abroad, but they take their semester at Second City. We've had students study there. They've gone and won all sorts of awards and competitions. They recently did one in Ohio where they beat Ohio State. I mean, the improv troupe, they beat every single college that went there, like 12 different colleges they won. And they take it very, very seriously. And that's led to a lot of people going on and writing sketch comedy and all sorts of stuff. It's a really fascinating group. Student-run, student-directed, which is wonderful, to give students that opportunity, to kind of lead as well in those positions. And so that's another opportunity as well that we offer for freshmen. You audition for that, they cast it themselves, but nevertheless, freshmen get in that group every single year as they replace the seniors who have left. And so that's another wonderful opportunity. We have a wonderful affiliation with the Cleveland Playhouse. This primarily comes through our graduate program. But you'll get to work with the grad students just the same as an undergrad. The Cleveland Playhouse, these are a variety of old pictures as well as new. The Cleveland Playhouse is, a lot of people outside of Cleveland haven't heard of it. It is the oldest regional theater in the country. It is the oldest continuous running professional theater in the country, founded in 1915. There's going to be a book coming out on it sometime in the next year or two, I hear. Written by a scholar of wonderful reputation. But it's an amazing theater, and everyone in the theater profession knows the Cleveland Playhouse. And the fact that we have a MFA program through them, we have students have internships down there working with the artistic director, working with the designers, working with directors, publicity, management, education. So we have these wonderful connections that we provide our students depending upon their interests. And the Cleveland Playhouse gives them the opportunity to explore the actual professional side of things. Because there is a great decision that a student in any arts field has to make at some point in time, because the profession is oftentimes very different than what they're exposed to in academia. In academia, we give you the skills and the knowledge to try to foray into that or prepare yourself for graduate work. But to take an opportunity with an internship is a wonderful way to kind of explore the other side of theater and the professional side, and our connections with the Cleveland Playhouse provide that in a way that no other school in this area does. And especially with the theater, the reputation of the Cleveland Playhouse, it's a win-win for everybody. It's an amazing opportunity for our students. In terms of what courses you can or should take as a freshman, these are the list as you see here if you're going to be a theater major. What I will say is this, is that for freshmen coming in as a major, you certainly take acting. There's 3 different acting classes when you come in to our department. There's Theater 100, which is a general acting class. There's Theater 101, which is acting 1 for minors. And there's Theater 102, which is acting 1 for majors. Depending upon schedules, because again, a lot of our students are double majors, those classes may bump up against a physics for pre-med, and we don't want to derail you, so you can switch into the minors class if you're major, or vice versa. We try to be as flexible as we can, because we know you have other commitments outside of theater. But we also recommend that you take Theater 110, which is the general theater, intro to theater class, taught by that same esteemed scholar right in Cleveland Play. Oh yes. And it's a really wonderful, fun class. And then we also have this year a brand new class, as you can see down there, the Theater Practicum, Theater 185. Which students will be taking. It's very common in a lot of different colleges to have a practicum, and what we do, it's a way to get you involved in different aspects of the theater department. The production side, if you act, that can count as your practicum. You can help do publicity, you can do dramaturgy. We're going to work with the faculty to make sure you get a very diverse experience, so you're not always doing the exact same thing, to make sure that our students are exposed to all different aspects of theater. So that's that opportunity there. You can see here a close-up version of what we encourage our students, our majors specifically, to take in the fall. These classes are open to all students, to all, whether they're going to major or minor. There might be some students who want to simply come and do theater for fun and then decide their sophomore year they want to be a major or minor. That's great. These are the classes that you can take anytime. We work with students coming in sophomore. I even had a junior come in, and that's hard to start a theater major and get them to graduate in time. We got them. But every student has different needs and different interests. And being in the arts, and by all means feel free to disagree with me, but I don't think you will. I don't think you will. The arts are supportive by nature. We love to work. We are collaborative. We are independent in our artistry. but we love to share. We love to work together, and we are, by nature, a very supportive community. That's how we thrive.
It takes several people to create an ensemble work, whether it's a theater work or a musical work, and that kind of cooperation is a model for life, really. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. And that's what we're all about.
Yeah, and especially for the people in theater, I'm sure in music, you get into academia not just because of your own intellectual interest, but because you like to work. I came into this position to work with younger people, to help them understand why I love theater so much, where my passion lies. And so therefore we're in this positions for this very purpose, to assist you in what you want to do. And it's incredibly rewarding, just as we hope that the educational experience is as rewarding for you students. So any of these classes are fine for you to take. Again, for theater, I would stay away from the 200 level courses unless you talk to me personally, and you can find my email me anytime if you'd like. I'll go over those with you. But for the most part, we see that we give some flexibility to students because we know you have some general requirements that you need to satisfy. If you're pre-med, we get a lot of pre-med, we get a lot of psychology double majors, English double majors. We want to make sure that you satisfy those courses as well, and so therefore you have open classes to decide what schedule you want to keep and where your other interests lie. Shall I go ahead and talk about dance now?
Sure, why
I'll
not?
go ahead and talk about dance. Dance is a department. The theater and dance department at Case used to be together, but dance has grown in such wonderful ways that they are now their own department. You can see here, if you're interested in dance, some of the different courses here. They're over in another building in this wonderful, wonderful center over in Mather. And there's a lot of opportunities for students there to get involved in dance. Within the classes as well, the classes that are taught by the professors, they are all over the world performing, dancing and choreographing, all sorts of works. I know that the department focuses much more on modern type of work than it does classical dance in terms of traditional jazz and tap and so forth like that. Their emphasis is much more modern dance. And then if that is your interest in being a dance major, then this is by far the program for you. But in addition to these classes, there's a lot of opportunities in terms of student groups that you can be a part of, and also their most famous opportunity is Matacall, which is Mather Dance Collective, which is a wonderful opportunity for students to get involved in these pieces that are created by students, some by faculty as well, to really get involved and dance on stage in a major production that they have. And that's offered every year as well. Do you have anything to...
Well, just to say that the dance department also has a specialization in dance wellness. So they're very aware of the health of the dancer and making sure that everything that they do is to the benefit of the health of the dancer, because there's so many things that can happen to dancers that mean that they're out of commission for months at a time, and so it's a really important feature of this dance program is to make sure that that's being monitored all the time.
Yeah, and then that's one of the programs that's kind of on the cutting edge. You know,
Yes,
not all
absolutely.
universities offer that, but it's a wonderful mix as well of medical science as well as dance. I mean, it's a really forward-thinking type of program. So if you are interested in dance, you can see here what the department recommends in terms of which dance classes to take and how to begin. A lot of it depends upon when you come in. I don't know if audition is the right word, but there is placement depending upon skill level in their different dance classes. Obviously, some people come with a lot of experience. Some people, haven't danced before, and by God, they're going to be a dance major. Well, good for you. But the dance department here, the classes are excellent. My theater students who have taken dance classes here love them. They're incredibly challenging. The faculty is incredibly caring and supportive, and really extremely talented. And as I think the fact that they're teaching and working all over the world, that speaks for itself. But dance here, it's like the theater department. It's on the smaller side, but nevertheless, the opportunities are there for students to get as involved as they would like. This is my contact information. Feel free to contact me anytime. If you have any questions about the theater program, any questions about classes we offer, whether you want to be a major, a minor, or just interested in theater, we welcome everybody. It is you under no obligation to declare a major or minor. Of course, we would love it if you did. We welcome you with open arms. But what we want is your spirit, your creativity, your energy, your contribution, your professionalism. Bring it to the table and we will find use for it and welcome it and celebrate it. And so if you're interested in working on any aspect of theater, feel free to contact me anytime. If you have questions, email me questions that I can answer. I'll point you in the right direction to make sure you get your answer that you need. I sound like a politician. I'll find that for you. But it's true. This is exactly what we do. And so that's the Department of Theater in a bit of a nutshell. And now we move on.
Well, Jeff, this was just great. I mean, you made me want to be a theater undergraduate. I'm Ross Duffin. I'm the interim chair of the music department at Case Western Reserve. This is now my third term as chair, and I'm giving it up soon to go back to teaching, which I'm looking forward to. And it's my 35th year on the faculty at Case Western Reserve. So I've been around here a long time, and it's because there's just so many opportunities here. It's just a wonderful place to be. Cleveland in general is a wonderful place to be in the arts, as Jeff said. I mean, people just don't know. We have the Cleveland Orchestra on our campus. We have the Cleveland Museum of Art on our campus. I mean, these are extraordinary cultural advantages that most schools, not just most schools, that no other schools have. Not even in Manhattan is there a university that has those kinds of cultural resources literally steps away. So this is a very exciting place to be in the arts. And along with that, it's a very exciting place to be in music. What I'm going to talk about mostly today is the opportunities for non-majors in music, and there are a lot of ways in which you can do that. The first slide here shows our main building, Hayden Hall, music department offices, classrooms, and library. And we're going to be moving out of there in a couple of years, and I'll talk more about that later. First of all, how can non-majors be involved in music? There are course electives. So in other words, there are courses that you could be taking that may not lead to a minor, that don't lead to a major, but they are just courses that you could take as electives. There's a music minor, so that's a curriculum that you can follow, which leads to a music minor, 15 credit hours, and I'll talk more about that. There are lessons that you can take. It's possible for students to take lessons. You don't have to be a music major in order to take lessons. There's a caveat on that as well, which I'll get to. And then there are ensembles. So we have maybe 80 or 100 undergraduate music majors at any one time, but we have almost 1,000 students that are involved in ensembles in the music department every year. And so what that says is that this is a very important part of student life for a lot of people. You may not have music as an intended major, but you were very serious about your instrument or singing in choir, and it's something you want to continue. And we certainly recognize that and provide a lot of opportunities for people to participate. So those are the main things. Okay, so the music minor consists of 15 credit hours, specifically 6 hours of theory, 6 hours of history or appreciation, and 3 others, which could be lessons or ensemble, or it could be more history or appreciation. So 15 credit hours. It's not a lot, but it's just enough to show that you have a commitment to music. You want to demonstrate to people down the road that, that you followed a curriculum in music and have some expertise. Next, this is a list of courses that are specifically for non-majors. So you wouldn't have majors in any of these classes with the exception of, down the bottom, 319 and 20 jazz skills and 305 world music and education. Those classes would also have majors in them. But the rest of them we've designed primarily for non-majors to take. So topics in music, that's a course that we designed that's run by our PhD students, where they propose to the faculty to do a course on something related to their dissertation. So it tends to be cutting edge. It tends to be what the latest research is on, and it can be very exciting in that way. And then we have a specific theory curriculum for non-majors as well. Now, a lot of departments don't have non-major specific courses, and we think that music is a subject area where it's really beneficial to have courses aimed at people who are not specialists, and so that's why we've done this. So you can see there are a lot of choices of music. I've got down the bottom there USSY, which are undergraduate seminars through the SAGES program. So they're SAGES seminars above the first semester level, and we offer them in music. They don't even require specialized knowledge in music. So I have a colleague, David Rothenberg, who teaches a course in medieval song, but it doesn't involve reading medieval music notation or anything like that. It's mostly looking at song lyrics and talking about what they're doing. So there are ways to do courses for general students that don't involve specialized knowledge, and so that's what we're trying to do with these courses. Lessons. So because of the joint music program that we have, all of the lessons of our undergraduate students are taking at the Cleveland Institute of Music, CIM. This is now 45 years that we've had this association with CIM. They're a major conservatory. Many of the faculty teach at many of the faculty play with the Cleveland Orchestra, and they come over and teach in the conservatory. And so our students take lessons there, and it means that our students are getting top quality performance instruction on their instruments or on their voice, because it's a major conservatory and it's a 2-minute walk from our department. So it's just an unbelievable advantage. Any student in the university can take lessons, but if you're not a music major, you pay an applied music fee. So this is subsidizing the lesson. If you're a music major, the lessons are paid for entirely by the university. If you're not a music major, you have to pay this applied music fee. And this past year, and for this coming year, I checked today, it's $750 per semester for 1 credit, that's a half-hour-a-week lesson, or $1,500 per semester for 2 credits, and that's an hour-a-week lesson. This is a fee that gets added to your term bill, so it's something that you really don't see. Your parents will pay it in the background for you. And as I say, you can take lessons all your semesters on campus if you wish to. And you don't have to be a music major to do it. It's just if you want to take lessons, that opportunity is there for you. Ensembles. So I'm going to show a list of ensembles in a moment. You'll see that there are a lot of them, a lot of choices. There are large ensembles and small ensembles. There are auditioned ensembles and non-auditioned ensembles. That is to say, ones where you have to reach a certain performance level in order to be admitted to the ensemble. And there are vocal ensembles and instrumental ensembles. And I say at the bottom, note, auditions may be gateway or placement. Gateway is what we use to describe the auditions where you have to achieve a certain level in order to get in. Some ensembles have placement auditions where it's not a matter of whether you get into the ensemble, it's just whether you're going to sit first violin, second desk, or second violin, fourth desk. That sort of thing, the placement according to your level of accomplishment on the instrument. So that's something that's confusing to people sometimes when they first come and are not sure about the auditions. So this is a list of ensembles that are available. Yeah, it's a lot, and this is how we have 900 and some students that are taking part. The Symphonic Winds, a large concert band. University Circle Wind Ensemble is a very select, smaller band. Symphony Orchestra and Chamber Orchestra. String Chamber Seminar, that's a course that's taught by Annie Fallard, the first violinist of the Cavani String Quartet, which is in residence at CIM. So it's taught for our students. So she comes over and coaches the string quartets and the string trios and the piano quartets and things like that we have. Chamber music for wind players, percussion ensemble, jazz ensembles. Our jazz band director is former lead trombone with the Tommy Dorsey and Glenn Miller orchestras, and internationally renowned jazz composer and arranger. So they're wonderful. Popular music ensemble, which is new. This past year we started a new undergraduate concentration in popular music for music majors, and along with that we started a popular music ensemble, and so that's just started. We've got some great faculty teaching in popular music, also through CIM. So CIM hires the popular music faculty, and our students take their lessons through that. The Marching Spartans, which is the marching band. Of course, we're not a big athletic school, although the teams usually do very well. Yeah, with no athletic scholarships, but the teams are really great. And a marching band that plays for home football games, and it's possible to get PE credit for taking part in the marching band. So that's a popular option. Concert choir, University Singers. University Singers is a non-auditioned group, whereas the concert choir is auditioned. And then we have a graduate specialization in historical performance practice, so sometimes called early music. So we have a number of ensembles related to the earlier repertoires, and some outstanding nationally and internationally renowned faculty that teach in that program. But those ensembles are open to other students in the university by audition. If you have expertise on Baroque violin, you should come out and play in the Baroque orchestra. Absolutely. Just to show some of the venues, I mentioned Severance Hall earlier. This is Severance Hall, which is right in the middle of our campus. It's the home of the Cleveland Orchestra. It was built in, I think, 1930, 1931, something like that. And a couple of times a year, we rent it for performances by Symphonic Winds, usually, and the Symphony Orchestra. And sometimes some other ensembles come along as well. And we usually fill up the 2,000 seats with proud parents. And it's a great experience for any student to be able to say that they played on the stage at Severance Hall. You can just see that it was renovated about 12 years ago, and you can see what a spectacular room it is, and the acoustics are fantastic. So that's a wonderful thing. This is the Symphony Orchestra playing in Coulis Hall at CIM, so the Cleveland Institute of Music. This is their largest performance space, and sometimes our orchestra will play over there. This is the Excelsior Ballroom in the Twing Student Center. If you've been walking around our campus in the last 2 or 3 months, you've seen the new student center going up. It's going to be enormous, and it's right next door to this Twing Student Center, the old student center. And that is an old building, and it has a beautiful ballroom, as you can see. And every year we have our windy and jazzy performances and a number of other things that go on in that room. So that's a beautiful space for music as well. This is the Church of the Covenant, which is behind our music building, Hayden Hall. And we've been using it more and more for music performances as well, just because we can't always get Severance Hall or some of the other spaces. And it is a beautiful room. And in fact, they just installed a new Baroque organ, basically where this camera is taking the photo from. There's a beautiful gallery organ that's now there, and our students have been avidly using that for the last few months. It gave the first performance on March 3rd this year, so that's all brand new. There's Harkness Chapel. Now, Harkness Chapel was built in 1902, and it ceased to be a chapel in, I think, around 1950, and since that time it's been administered by the music department. So we've been able to make changes to the stage area and acoustical changes to the room, and now it's one of the best chamber halls in all of Cleveland. CIM has Mixon Hall, which is a beautiful chamber hall, but Harkness, beautiful oak hammer beam ceiling, and it's just an exquisite space, and the sound is absolutely fantastic. So that is our own performance space, and we have most of our recitals and a lot of concerts there. You can see the inside there. This is the concert choir on stage in the chapel, and there's the Camerata Chamber Orchestra in the chapel. Here's on the left is the Collegium, the early music ensemble, and the early music singers in the background, and then the early music singers by themselves on the right. And here is the Baroque Orchestra, coached by Ton Koopman. Ton Koopman is one of the great Baroque conductors in the world today, leads the Amsterdam Baroque Orchestra. And he's just finished 3 years of residencies with the Cleveland Orchestra, and he is very, very generous and came over almost on every occasion that he was in town, twice a year for the last 3 years, to coach our students. It's just a wonderful opportunity, and we're hoping that they'll continue to bring him in because it's a fantastic thing for our students to be able to work so intensively with someone of that stature. These are 2 shots of the jazz band. You can see the one on the left is the jazz band at Harkness Chapel, and on the right they're in Nighttown, which is a local restaurant which specializes in jazz, and so there the jazz band is doing a run-out concert and performing in a local jazz club, basically. That was just taken this past spring. This is the classroom, our largest classroom space in Harkness Chapel. We have up to maybe 40, 45 students in our largest classes. Most of them are smaller. In the basement of Hayden Hall is the core. We call it the core. It's our computer music lab. It started as a Mac lab in 1984, the first year that Macs were introduced, and we've developed it since then. The core is run by a certified Mac technician, so we don't even have to send our computers out for hardware changes. She can fix everything right in-house. It's a fabulous facility. Lots of specialized software, and you can see the keyboards and so on, so the students can come and learn about computer applications in music. The marching band I mentioned, there they are on Case Field, the new field, which is amid the dorms at East 115th. And this is our rehearsal and practice room facility, Dennis and Wade. And the advantage of that is it's an unprepossessing building, but it's actually right in the middle of the North Campus dorms. And when I was chair previously, I arranged for the students to have 24-hour access to the building. So it couldn't be more convenient.
Absolutely.
You know, you can practice at 2 or 3 in the morning if that's what you want to do, and always get into the building. It's just fantastically convenient. It's not a wonderful space, but it's
But the
practical.
flexibility for that, yeah, makes a
Yeah,
huge
yeah,
difference.
it's just well, I had kids in college and they were emailing me at 3 and 4 in the morning, so I knew that
Everyone's up, man.
they were up then. So, a reminder that the Rock Hall is in Cleveland, and so our new popular music program and the popular music ensemble is going strong, and we're really excited about that going forward. The Temple Tifereth Israel, it's a historic gold domed building just to the west of campus as it exists, the other side of the Art Museum basically. And it's going to be converted into the new Performing Arts Center. So Jeff and I are going to have offices in the same building for the first time ever, along with the rest of our faculty. I've been involved in meetings for the last year and a half constantly about the new Performing Arts Center. It's going to be a spectacular space.
Absolutely.
This is an artist's conception of the main concert hall at the Maltz Center. Right now, it's a sanctuary, and you can see that some of the woodwork and so on of the sanctuary has been retained. But there's a stage that has 3 different levels of size that can be adjusted to. There's a glass canopy over the stage for acoustical reasons that directs the sound out into the hall, and it's going to be fantastic. It'll be our own performance space, and I think that the rest of Cleveland is going to want to get in there and use it themselves. Just to mention some student-run music performance organizations. Solstice, a women's a cappella group. Speakeasy below them, there's a men's a cappella group. Footlighters, and that's something that crosses over into the theater department as well, because they do musicals. Every semester they do some Broadway musical, and it's entirely student-run. Music director, stage director, the pit band, the actors, they're all students, and they do a fantastic job. And then I also put in Dama Capella, which is a South Asian fusion ensemble, which has been winning prizes for South Asian singing. So there are opportunities for that kind of performance on campus as well. And we hope that you'll come and take advantage of everything that is out there. Just for those of you who may be thinking, gosh, I wish I'd auditioned and expressed an interest in being a music major, I put this slide in just to show you what you should do. We accept applications for being a music major up to August 15th. We have a system called Decision Desk, where people upload videos and we're able to evaluate them and give conditional acceptance as music majors in that way. I've put the name of Professor Nita Karp, who is our undergraduate admissions coordinator, and her contact information up there. So you should definitely start by sending her an email. And then just to say what you would typically do as a music major in your first semester, I've shown the things that you would sign up for. One of the reasons that that's significant is because we have a lot of double majors. Jeff already mentioned did you say 95%?
I pushed about, yeah.
Something like that. Ours is more like 50% of our students are double majors. And a lot of them are pre-med and things like that. And they need to be able to fit those majors into their schedule. So it's not a lot initially in music, and the undergraduate studies is aware that there are a lot of double majors and they want to be able to do both, and they need to be able to accomplish both. And so that's what we've done. We've made it possible for people to do this because a lot of students are passionate about music. They want to keep doing it all through their college years, but they want to be doctors or they want to be lawyers or whatever it is, or at least they think they do.
I don't
or
understand
engineers.
Why
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, and then I have one more slide, I think, which is just to show the websites for people interested in various things. So the website for ensembles with contact information for the directors. For lessons, you should email music@case.edu. The list of courses for non-majors, and then information about the minor at that website. So all of those resources available to you if you want to pursue music, whether it's as a major or as a non-major. I hope that that's helpful.
2 things, if I can add on to this wonderful presentation. 2 things that I really think you should take note about CASE. First of all is that with our new Performing Arts Center, CASE is investing in the arts, which seems to be a rarity in some instances more and more. But they really have made a wonderful commitment in terms of building, in terms of scholarship, in terms of opportunities, recognizing that there are things that students can learn from by being engaged in the arts, or simply by seeing and supporting the arts. The case is really, really wonderful in supporting the different arts on campus. And that's wonderful for this institution. Second of all, you can see the numerous opportunities that music offers, as well as theater. I mean, Baroque, I love Baroque music. I wish I had the time to go see all this. And it's amazing that I know that's frustrating for me as a faculty, that I hear of all these different things like, oh, I wish I could go see this. I wish I could go do this. There are so many opportunities to see and do things here in the arts on campus that it is absolutely mind-blowing. That I wish I could go see all these musical performances. I'm sure you wish you could see every single theater show, but for different reasons, obviously, as the faculty have a hard time with this. But as students, you can be as invested as you want to, because there are so many opportunities for you to get involved in music and in theater, because there are so many things going on every single night on this campus involving the arts. It is truly wonderful. The different kind of creative spirit that we have established here for our students. And so take advantage of it.
Right, and I shouldn't let this opportunity go by to mention that the Cleveland Orchestra has a student ticket program for students where you pay something like $5 for a ticket to the Cleveland Orchestra. And believe me, the face value of those tickets is a lot more than $5. So, there are a lot of adults that would love the opportunity to go see the Cleveland Orchestra for those kinds of dollars.
Absolutely, because if you're in an art history class, the wonderful things about CASE, if you're in an art history class, you say, oh yeah, well, there's this Rembrandt painting. Well, let's just not look at it in the book. Let's go across the street and look at it in the Cleveland Museum. Well, there's this wonderful music piece. Let's go hear the Cleveland Orchestra play. This top 3 in the world orchestra, something like that. It's an amazing orchestra, and if you want to see some of the best theater in town that's created here, oftentimes, or tours coming through all the Broadway, anything you need, we've got it here, and it's all here with CASE. It's an incredible collaboration and opportunities here on our actual campus.
Well, Jeff, there may be people who have questions, in spite of the fact that I think we've covered just about everything. So maybe we should see.
Please, by all means.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Illom and Professor Duffin. That was a very informative presentation. But yes, we do have some questions that have come in throughout the presentation, and I'll just go right into them. So the first one is from Heather, and this one is kind of a specific question. She wants to know about the symphony orchestra and if it is a gateway audition or is that a placement audition?
Okay, the symphony orchestra is a placement audition. So in other words, I suppose I should say it's sort of a combination. If you've already had a lot of experience as a player, chances are you're going to be able to play in the symphony orchestra. The chamber orchestra tends to be for the students who are less experienced. So most of the audition for a symphony orchestra would be for placement. In other words, if you're an experienced orchestral player already, then you will be playing in the orchestra, and the audition will primarily be for just for placement.
Thank you very much for that. We got a couple of questions that I think I can group together, and actually it would be good for both of you to answer based on your individual departments. So the first question is, what are the auditions like? What is the audition process like when you want to get into an ensemble or get into a production? Just briefly.
Why don't you start with the theater?
Brutal. Brutal. No, it's actually as kind and caring as it can be in any kind of theater audition. No one loves theater. No one says, "Oh, I want to audition but not get cast." The process is always tricky. But what we do is we model our process on the professional audition process, which is that you come in and you sign up for specific times. The directors will meet with you. They'll see one audition. They will make known well in advance what it is that they would expect from you in terms of a monologue and so forth like that. And when you arrive on campus, you can ask our students, what is the process like, and they'll tell you as well. But we try to make it as easy and as comfortable for you as possible, especially if you're a new student. The faculty aren't just going to come in and not talk to you. They want to know who you are because you've shown an interest in theater, and we want to get to know you. And so they'll talk to you about it to try to make you a little bit more comfortable given the awkwardness of the situation. It is any time that you audition. But we do follow kind of a standard format, usually of like 2 contrasting monologues, and then having callbacks the next day or two after that. But again, if you have any questions about that, feel free to email me, and I can forward your question on to the artistic director of our theater season, Gerald Scott. So, it's pretty standard, but at the same time, we try to make it as hospitable as possible.
Yeah, I would say that there are a lot of different models for auditions in ensembles. So different directors are looking for different things. They might be looking for the performance of a prepared piece from a solo and ensemble competition, for example. They might be looking for sight reading skills, so they might give you something to sight read. But yeah, the faculty are not out there to intimidate you. And someone like our band director, Gary Seepluck, he's also the director of the Cleveland Youth Wind Symphony, and he auditions about 1,000 students a year.
Wow.
He knows what he's doing in terms of auditioning and really can handle people gently and carefully and find out what's best for them, where they're best placed. You don't want to be in an ensemble that's over your head anyway. It would just be frustrating. So the placement is really important, and I think our faculty really know what they're doing in terms of placing people.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Professor Duffin, Samantha has a question about how to get involved with taking lessons on a secondary instrument. Could you just review that process again quickly?
Right. Well, all non-majors take what we call our secondary instrument track. So it would be actually a 131, MUAP 131. The way students arrange to take lessons is that they come into the music office and talk to the department assistant, Jen Harmon, and she has to release permits and so on. It's just because it takes a certain amount of coordination with CIM in order to get in order to get the process working. We have to find out about the payment of the applied music fee for students that are not music majors, and make sure that those who are music majors are not paying the fee and things like that. So the process involves going into the music office to talk to Jen Harmon, our department assistant, and getting it started. And she can release the permit for you, and it's easy after that. Then you get in touch with you're told who the teacher is, given contact information. You contact them, and then you arrange lessons as convenient for both of you. So the lessons could be anytime, but it's always by arrangement. So they don't just say you have to show up at this hour for this lesson, or you don't get lessons. It's done by arrangement. So that's the way the process works.
Great. Okay, I have another question. I think it would be helpful for both of you to answer. This one's from Alicia, and she wanted to know when you're involved in an ensemble, how much time throughout the semester could you expect to dedicate to performing with that ensemble? And I think you could probably apply that same question to a performance as well.
You want to go first?
Sure. In theater, what we usually find is that we are very cognizant of the fact that students have outside commitments, be it classes or other things. And so what we usually rely on, and I think it might be the same in music, is you need to be upfront with us in terms of what your different schedule demands are, so that we can try and work around the best that we can. The same type of thing. I'd be surprised if you came in as a freshman and got cast as Hamlet. But at the same time, we've had major roles given to freshmen. But the key to success in any college career is time management. That if you get cast in an ensemble, get placed in an ensemble, cast in the show, you're going to have to dedicate your time differently than you would if you're doing other sports activities or whatever, because now you've got to commit yourself fully to a production as well as to your academic demands, because this is a top 40 university. You are going to have hard classes and need to study, and so we're as cognizant and as considerate as we can be in terms of making sure that we're not demanding your time, that you're only in rehearsal when needed. You're not just sitting there without your time being wasted. We're not going to do that to you. But at the same time, when you are there, we do expect you to be fully committed to our work. It's obviously year after year, freshmen have come in and been in shows without a problem. The challenge is really more for you, the individual student, to make sure that you manage your time well.
With theater productions, there's also Tech Week, which can take a lot of concentrated time, isn't that right?
Absolutely. The final week before Tech is, I'm sure if you've been involved in productions in high school, it's fairly similar. Usually the Tech here is a lot more complicated, than you might have been exposed to in high school. But again, we give you that information 5 weeks out, so that it is up to you to plan your studying schedule around it. If you have exams and problems, you can work in advance of that. So again, it is incumbent upon the student to be responsible for making sure that they get their different responsibilities fulfilled.
I think in music, the ensembles meet normally 2 to 3 hours per week, and so you would have those rehearsals where you'd be expected to be there, and then whatever rehearsing individual practice outside of the ensemble that's necessary for you to be on top of the music and prepared for the rehearsals the following week. There's often a dress rehearsal before a performance, and then whatever performance. Most ensembles perform maybe 2 times per semester. Occasionally there are additional performances, but so you could add up all those things and see what's involved. We have a lot of students who do more than one ensemble. They want as much performing experience as they can get, and they just want to do it. And so they spend a lot of time in ensembles. The times that it conflicts with things tend to be study sessions for physics course or something like that are out of class time, where the instructor in science or whatever doesn't really pay attention to ensembles and says you have to be there. And so that's really the only time that we've ever had a problem with people having a conflict and wondering what to do.
Yeah.
But usually we can work it out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both very much for the session this evening. It was definitely very informative. Thanks to all the students who tuned in and sent in their questions. Again, if we didn't get to your questions tonight, we will follow up with you via email. We would like to also just remind you quickly of our upcoming online information sessions that go throughout the rest of this week and into the following week with both the College of Arts and Sciences, the Case School of Engineering, as well as Weatherhead and the Francis Payne Bolton School of Nursing coming up over the next few days. But thanks again to Professor Illom, Professor Duffin for a wonderful presentation. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a great evening.